good. Hi, my name is Ella. I'm 26. I'm wondering if my religious values are holding me back from finding the right one.
Okay. Tell me more.
I'm ultra Orthodox religious, like very, very, very religious. Like I've never touched a guy in my life, like not even like held hands, like nothing, nothing, nothing. And
Like because you don't want to, or you feel like the shame of it
no,
all, or like
no, religiously, like I'm not allowed to.
okay. And how do you feel about that as a 26-year-old adult?
Okay, so two things. Okay, so first, I really feel like I'm very, very connected to my religion. Like, it's not just something I grew up with. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that's part of me. It's part of my. It's in my bones, and I really feel for it. And at the same time, it's been really difficult.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
because culturally, almost everyone is married at this point. I'm like the second to last one in my class not married,
And when you say
and
your class, what do you mean?
like high school. Like I went to an all girls high school.
Okay. How connected are you to your community? Because, like, for example, I grew up very religious. You may or may not know, having 10 siblings is usually a signal of that, right? We went to like a Catholic church. It was, I wouldn't call it like Orthodox, certainly I held hands in high school type of thing. There was a lot of like no sex before marriage from my parents, like conversations. There was certainly a lot of that kind of shame and whatever. But certainly I guess we were not orthodox enough for me and my siblings to, whatever we just, do our thing in high school. And, as Catholics are notorious for, breaking the rules, or right. So to speak,
Yeah.
and then going to confession or whatever. But I certainly am familiar with, very devout religious parents and that kind of upbringing. You mentioned, you say the word Orthodox. Obviously, that kind of seems like a signal even more serious and more intense in
Yeah,
terms
like
of.
I never talked to like a guy like throughout high school. Like it wasn't like
So, like, I just out of curiosity, I mean, well, a couple things. One, it's just like usually in my experience, like the more Orthodox families and communities kind of just stay within their Orthodox family or communities. Like everyone was just more religious, let's say in the, I don't know, back in the day, right? And you would just go to your church and then you would marry someone from your church. And it was easier to be devout because, like, yeah, we believe in the same thing. A lot of times it's just like that's why a lot of people in these very devout religious communities like stick with their own, so to speak, because it's just, it is hard to find people, especially as modern society becomes more and more, I guess, agnostic, to find people who subscribe to, very rigid beliefs. But it doesn't sound like that's the case for you. It's like you're trying to hold on to these core values and then date people outside of your religion.
no, no, no. It's well, do you know how it works? Like the Orthodox, Jewish Orthodox
Oh,
thing?
so you're Jewish Orthodox. Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, yeah. No, it I mean it's all really set up through a matchmaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everything like you can't like meet the guy yourself type of thing. Like it is all set up through a matchmaker and you do a lot of research and everything before you even meet the guy. Like your parents call his character references and everything. It's like it's very intense. You even do genetic testing before you even meet the guy. And then he comes to your house and he like meets your parents for like 3 minutes and then he takes you off to a hotel lobby and you spend 3 hours talking. And if you like him, then you go out again. And from there, it just goes really fast. And usually, like 8 dates later, you're probably engaged.
Okay.
Uh,
So is that what you're in line for?
yeah, well, that's what I've been doing. Yeah,
How long you've been doing this?
7 years.
And you just haven't like are your parents are like exhausted trying to find you someone you like or
Yeah, they're going nuts. Like, and it's been working. Like I've dated like tons of guys.
well, so you're just like, nah, I'm good.
No, so yeah, that's what's happening is like
Are you
it's
turning them all down or do you get rejected ever?
no, like once in a while there is someone that rejects me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so it's been brutal. Like it's been like I'll be in like a hotel lobby and it will be so brutal for me to make conversation with the guy because I just feel like I don't know, like it's just very, very hard for me. And then but there was one guy that I did like recently, and that's where the whole question came about.
Okay.
And
Was he Jewish Orthodox?
yes, he was. He was. So I met him. Do you know what a Shabbos table is? Shabbos,
I'm
Sabbath.
I'm familiar with the word. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I've seen the show Orthodox on Netflix. Great show.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So um, so every week there's like the Sabbath, whatever. It's
Mhm.
like a very much like a very family time. And I was at like this person's house, and I saw this guy there, and I don't know, like I just went over to him. I just started talking to him, and which is like not really done so much, like you don't really just like go over. But he was so nice, and he was so sweet, and we went through a matchmaker after that, and I really really liked him. But I felt like the more we talked and the more I got to know him, he wasn't he wasn't as religious as me. Like he wasn't
What does that mean? Like, explain that to me, because he still went through a matchmaker,
yeah. He didn't like touch or anything like that, but like
but he was very much part of the Jewish Orthodox
yeah,
Church and familiar with your arrangement and how you do things. And it's like he was certainly comfortable with that, right? And understood that, right?
right, right.
So what do you mean by he wasn't as religious as you?
Well, I mean, it was an overall feel. Like we're not really like allowed to like listen to like secular music or things like that. And like he definitely would do that. And he would always like be like testing me, like putting it on in the car, and like but he
What's
was
considered secular Like, I'm honestly shocked that you listen to my podcast. Like, are you allowed to like we
totally. I told my parents that I was coming on. They were like, "Oh my gosh, that's super cool. Go for it."
okay, cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what does secular mean? Because like,
Okay, like mainstream, just totally mainstream music, like regular music. Yeah,
okay. And what
yeah.
about like what's considered a secular show? Like a
It's just all shows, actually.
okay, so anything okay.
Okay, maybe that was the wrong word, secular. Maybe I meant
Well, no,
mainstream.
I'm very fascinated. This is very fascinating. I'm just trying to understand like where
Yeah,
like you're calling in and saying like, okay, I found he wasn't as religious to me. I asked, what did that mean? You mentioned like he kind of dabbled in secular music.
yeah,
You're not supposed to listen to it. Sounds like you mostly don't.
right.
Is music different than, like, all jokes aside, like, a podcast, that talks about sex and dating and talks about music and talks about TV shows and all of these things I'm assuming are outside the purview of what you're supposed so where do you draw the line?
Right. Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. About drawing the line. It's not even, I think, the actually like the secular music. I think it's more is that he identified as someone who he- that he wants to like a little bit not be as rigid in those roles. And there were other examples, like he was going to Israel for a week,
Mhm.
and he invited me to come along, and I know, right? I know. I was like, that's like kind of scandalous. He's like, no, don't worry, we'll sleep in separate hotels. I was like, but he knows that that's kind of that was a bit much. But it wasn't even just that. It was his whole dress. Like he would dress like not like the way like religious guys dress, and everything he did was just
Well, what did you
was
think about that? Did you find that exciting, or did you find that to be a turnoff?
it was both. It was both, yeah.
Okay. And talk to me about the turnoff part.
Well, like I'm very, very connected to the religion and to the community. And so like when I was like, let's say like seen with him, it would like people would always like raise eyebrows and
So
be
the
like,
turnoff is more about your fear about how you two as a couple and then subsequently you would be accepted in your community with this guy?
definitely, definitely that part. But I think it was more was I felt like the more like I would talk about religion and like my goals and just everything, and he would be like, yeah, this is like he's like, I want like a very religious girl, but I'm not I'm not as connected to it as you are.
What do you want for yourself?
What do I want for myself?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding of most devout Orthodox, or I mean, again, I come from a religious background, which is And listen, as a new dad, as a new husband, like I am in my dad family era, and I think it's
Yeah.
the greatest thing. You know, if that's something you want as a person, not to push anyone's on, but like having a family, having kids, having a partner, the most rewarding and greatest thing anyone can do. I am down for that. That being said, it seems like in more conservative, devout, Orthodox families, very very traditional. Like the woman's role is be a mom, be a wife, raise a family, be the caregiver, and you're very limited to those roles. Is that accurate in terms of like what is expected of you and I guess what you want? Because when it comes to very devout religion, right? I think a lot of people what people struggle with, right? Whether it's as devout as yours and as rigid as yours, or maybe say like an upbringing like mine, which is still pretty considered by most people very a religious family, not certainly as orthodox as yours, but there's a lot of like what I was raised to want and for myself and what I was raised to believe and what I was taught to believe and what, all these values that were instilled in me that are important to me, but they're also important to me because they're part of my family. And then there's as we get older, like what we realize we want, and that struggle between, am I doing it for me? Am I doing it out of shame or guilt? Am I doing it because I believe in a higher purpose? Like, all these things that people struggle with, right? Also like parents have a way of using religion. All parents are afraid to like let their kids kind of go as they get into adulthood. And I think people who come from religious families, like parents will use whatever levers they have and they can use religion to like make sure that their kids like stay kind of under their, like
Influence.
yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's just which as a new parent, I empathize with like this idea of, it won't always be like this, type of thing. And so, for you, I'm just trying to figure out what's the part that you're struggling with, because I know you keep saying, my religion's really important to me, but like which part? Like what is a perfect, forgetting about what anyone wants of you, your parents, God himself, or your friends. But if
Yeah.
God said, what I want is for you to decide, what would you decide for yourself?
In life.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, and like just paint me a picture of your
of my life.
life. Regardless of what God says, hey,
Yeah.
whatever, just know that what I want for you, and you can do no wrong, is for you to decide what your life looks like. And for me, that will make me the happiest. What would that be?
I think I would want nothing more than to get married and have kids. And
Okay. And then, but what does that look like? What,
does it look like?
yeah. You could have, there are families who have kids who both parents work, right? There are family who has kids where the mom works and the dad's a stay-at-home mom. There's so many different family dynamics, what is like a day in the life look like, are, how are you raising your kids,
Yeah. I mean, I would want to be wealthy. I would want
Okay. Great.
I would want him to be making like most of the money, but I still would want to contribute and have my own and I love my work. I teach first grade and I love it like every moment.
Okay. So you want to still
But
teach?
yeah, I definitely still want to teach. I um and I would want like to like live for that higher purpose. Like and
What does that
yeah,
mean?
it would be like elevating every small action that I do for God.
Okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean? It
I mean,
means
I'm not trying. I'm just like, I want, at some point you have to, I think the challenge you have is so many of your answers are just kind of, it kind of reminds me of a story. And this is, again, very, very interesting to me and very fascinating. I think, religion is such a fascinating element. But when I was we used to call it CCD, Catholicism, like, it was CCD. It was like the after school for Catholic kids. And we'd go and we'd learn about, I guess, the Bible.
did you connect to it or no?
Oh, no. It was just like, I hated it. Whatever. Well,
Oh,
also,
really?
Well,
How come?
what I mean, like, well, I mean, listen, I came from a family where like a lot of like we said the rosary as a family, like we prayed
Yeah,
together as a family. Like to me, like what my parents did in terms of instilling like God and religion into our childhoods was more than anything like than an after school church program was. It was kind of I thought silly,
right,
right? So, but there was this kid I went. His name was DJ, and we would have like we'd have homework, right? And we'd have questions and TJ, I'd look over. TJ would just write every answer was just God, 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 God. He wouldn't read the question. He would just write God, 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 God.
oh gosh, am I sounding like that?
No, yeah. I mean, like a little bit
A
in the
bit,
sense
a
that like
bit.
it's more like you're not. When I'm asking you some of these questions, it's like you're not entirely sure how to answer it, and you're only answer it by saying like, "Listen, I just want to make God happy. You know, I want to serve God." I'm not
Yeah,
sure I know what that means. I'm not sure if you know exactly what that means, right?
right.
As in adulthood, it's just a lot easier when we're kids and we grow up and our parents teach her these things and our rabbis teach us these things about like how to listen to God, how to follow God, like follow the rules, right? Like, and you're just like, okay, cool. If I'm going to do this because I want to be a good kid, and then, you know, this guy that you met, right, that you had an interest in, who's like, he's just more like, yeah, I mean, I like religion and I like my family and I like God, but like, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna like bet on the fact that like, if I listen to this song, I'm not gonna burn in hell, and I like this song, and so like, whatever, like, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm not gonna live with the shame and guilt of whatever has been like instilled in me, and I'm gonna fly to Israel and I'm gonna visit it. I'm gonna ask this girl I like if she wants to come. And if she doesn't want to come, that's fine. But if she does want to come, like, well, you know, I don't want to pressure her or force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. But like, we're just gonna be two adults going on a trip. And like, I don't see the harm in that. And like, whatever. And he is thinking for himself, right? And he is walking his own path and he is deciding, it sounds like, that like, he is taking what he's learned as a child, you know, and whatever values were instilled in him, and he is starting to make decisions for himself and making his own set of rules. And you know, the day he meets his maker, he's betting on the fact that like he's going to get it right, so to speak, right? I don't know, like I guess that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, you know, my views on religion and God, like, you know, not to get into that, obviously have changed, but like overall, I like to think I believe in a higher power. And I certainly, as I've said, you know, to other people, like I live my life with the, like, I don't know what I believe in these days, but I live my life that like I'm prepared to be held accountable for my choices if it comes to that, you know? And so that's how I live my life, you know? I don't know what when that day comes where whoever shows up at the pearly gates or whatever God looks like to, you know, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming I'm prepared to be held accountable for my choices. And
right.
that's kind of how I'm living my life. As I get older and the more I get older and the more I have like my own thing, like right now, my focus in life is raising my family, doing what I think is right. And I have my moral compass. I am not checking in with my priest or my parents and asking them, what do you think I should do? How does, you know, I am not really asking myself on a day to day basis, what would God do here? I'm just, you know, I'm making decisions based off what I think is the right thing to do. And like a lot of these are just more like, it's River gets older, right? Now she's starting to like not listen to us. Natalie and I are talking about how do we deal with that, right? I don't know. We're just making choices, you know? And I don't want to say God isn't part of that conversation. I mean, either of us are not that religious of people, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like the best way to describe it is this guy you're talking to, he is making choices for himself. And you seem to be struggling to do that because your default is always like, what am I supposed to do? And what is someone who loves God? What would she do? You know, and what is someone who's really devout to their religion? What would she do? And I
Mhm.
feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, that's how you ask yourself these questions, as opposed to, what do I want to do?
Oh yeah. Well, okay, fine. So there's a couple of things
Okay.
with guy. So I reached out to the matchmaker and I was like, oh, I also want to answer with the other thing is for sure I have a massive super ego where I'm like it's like constantly buzzing in my head of like, what should I do? Okay, was I right? Was I wrong? Was I this? Was I that? Which it's a little bit heavy on that end. Um, but with the guy, I was trying to tell the matchmaker, like, can we just talk about religion at all? Because he every time we tried to talk about religion, he would like somehow would like circumvent, like I don't know, it just would never happen. And she did. She talked to him and he's like, yeah, I totally admit I was totally like trying to I'm worried if we talk about religion it'll ruin the relationship. So I was definitely circumventing it, and every time she brought it up, I made sure to quickly switch the topic.
Okay.
Anyway, on the 11th date, which is even kind of late in our community, like to even be going out that much, but I like we started talking about religion, and he's like, I don't want you to ask me the nitty gritties of my religious observance.
He
So
said that to you.
he said that to me.
Okay.
So I said to him, I'm like, okay, I get it. And he's like, I just like, if you're okay with me, we could get married, but like, if not, then not. So I said to him, I was like, okay, fine. So I don't need to know exactly where you're holding, but like, is this at all like a goal for you? Like, do you, is it, are there any goals spiritually you have? Anything? And he's like, no.
So he's not really all religious at all.
Well, I mean, I mean, he said he's religious. So
No. He's not acting religious. What he's acting like, again,
exactly.
based off of what you're telling me, is
Yeah.
that he's playing the part in
He's
your
playing the part.
community.
Yeah.
He is like going through the matchmaker. I mean, he definitely sounds like a guy who's hooked up with a girl before.
Really? Do you think so?
I don't know anything about this guy. He is a guy,
Do
religious
you
or not.
really think so? I didn't. I was like, someone told me that too, and I just couldn't believe it.
I'm basing this off of very little information, so I would not go off of, you know, this is
Oh my
this is
gosh.
just a
That
guess. It's a very simplified guess based off the fact that he's a guy,
okay.
and there have been popes back in the day who have stepped out of line, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like humans are humans. Two, like he's clearly not that religious, right? And as someone who knows what it's like to grow up very religious and to
Right.
have like slowly grown away from it, like temptation like gets the best of us, and he is stretching his limits of of what he's willing to do outside of what he's been raised and told not to do. And usually in those cases, sex of some kind or emotional or physical intimacy is a very appealing thing for a young man to want to look into or try. And it's certainly exciting and it feels taboo and anything, I don't care if you're religious or not, if it's taboo, it's a little titillating and a little exciting. And he has clearly shown a willingness and an interest to test those limits. And I don't know, like it just makes a lot of sense that,
He didn't try to like ever touch me or
well,
anything.
because you're very religious. He
Right,
knows that, you know. I listen, this is based off nothing, so I wouldn't accuse this guy of of anything. But my point is he's playing the part, right? He's but at the end of the day, he's not it's just not a priority for him, right? He wants to have a wife. He wants his family, he wants his community, and he wants to marry someone who, like him, like wants to put on Severance at home and watch it with his wife and like not tell anyone.
Oh, okay, so yeah, and I know like for him, like he has like this very, he doesn't see religion the same way because his parents were a lot more strict with him, and he found it very constraining. So he's massively into therapy. Like he goes twice a week for 8 years. Like
Is
very
that
very very
something like is being Orthodox? Are they into therapy?
totally
They
yeah. I'm
are.
in therapy.
Okay.
Yeah
All right.
yeah
They're like by a therapist or like a rabbi.
yeah. That's a good question. No, by an actual therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Um, my my father's actually a psychologist.
Oh,
Yeah
really? Oh.
yeah
And
yeah.
does he work with people outside of the religion?
Definitely
Really?
definitely.
Okay. Interesting. Well, how would your dad answer this question? I mean, have you talked to him about this stuff?
Oh yeah.
What
Oh
does
yeah.
he
He
say?
he he didn't like the guy till that he liked him till that point. Then he's like, this guy, he has like this idea that enjoying life is like the way to live life, because he was like very into like his cars and his this and his that, and just enjoying life. And he's like, he's not willing to put in the work in anything. So
What I
that's
mean,
what
does your dad doesn't think you should enjoy life?
he thinks I should enjoy life.
Okay.
Yeah. He liked the guy till the religious part.
How does your
Yeah.
dad balance the, as a psychologist who works with people outside of his religion, how does he see the world between, he must recognize that his way of life and his values are are unique and aren't shared by many people outside of his religion. And how does he, and so many of your rules again are very, very rigid. How does he reconcile that in terms of
Yeah,
like
no, I think
judging,
I
because again, like talking about secular music, right? Like, I'm guessing you didn't watch Love Island,
right now.
right? Like, so like, let's assume you, for whatever reason, one day you watched Love Island and you were like, I don't know, I'm just addicted to it. And it's just like really good. And like, whatever, I know I'm not supposed to be watching, but like, YOLO. What would your parents think of that?
They wouldn't. They would be like, you know, sometimes you need to enjoy yourself.
Okay.
And they would say, maybe there's a better thing you could do with your like they wouldn't judge me
Okay.
for it.
And what does your gut tell you that both your parents have their own little thing that they do that maybe they shouldn't be doing, that they don't like?
I don't really think that. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, in my experience, when it comes to like the more like, like I was raised, like again, when you're raised Catholic, the core principle of like that, like how I was raised is just more like, your time here on earth has a purpose, and that purpose is to get to heaven. Right. And it is about kind of suffering through, suffering is a good thing because it like earns your way to heaven in a way. And so like, it justifies like hard times or whatever. I don't know. Well, I don't know what was
I don't think that's the belief. I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm definitely not like with my parents. Like they're very much like you have to really enjoy yourself and even yeah, like they're always like my father's always telling me, and my mother also, they're always like, get yourself all the clothes you need, get yourself everything you want. Like they're very much into that. But it just I just feel like I'm kind of stuck in this like bubble in a way, because here everyone else already got married. Everyone else is like having their kids and this and that. And then I don't know, like honestly, like, I don't know really what to do with my life, like at this point, because I'm trying to get married. I so badly want to get to that next stage. And yeah, I'm like working on myself, like career wise, emotionally, spiritually, like everything. And like I know you also kind of waited a while till you got married.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just I don't like I don't know what to do with myself, like honestly. Like
What do you mean by like, do you live with your parents?
yeah, yes. That's also part of the community thing. You
Yeah.
you live with your parents, so you get married.
Okay. What do you mean by you don't know what to do with do you have friends?
Right. Yeah, but basically everyone's married.
Everyone's married. Yeah. I mean, it's just like your lifestyle and religion is so like unique, and it's hard for me to tell you what you think you should think and feel, because what you're describing, what I'm hearing, it's like it has like hints of like a very, it's like it's not prearranged marriages. Like you very much have a say,
Yeah.
you have not been liking these people you go on a date with or you've been made with,
Right.
but there's still a very rigid process. You're not exactly going on the app, so to speak. You're not opening yourself up to like just anyone. You're dating within your religion.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, the other men that you were introduced to, what were some of the reasons that you didn't dig them?
I don't know. Like every guy, something else. Like it's been awful. Yeah. Like each yeah.
Like physically, you're not like what? Like so I'm assuming some you weren't physically attracted to.
Some of them, but I'm not even so like it's so funny because I listen to the podcast and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I he has to be 6 feet. I'm laughing because like Jewish men are so short. I'm like, yeah, I go out with like 5'3" guys, 5'4" guys. Like it's totally fine for me. The height. But like, yeah, sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't know.
You're
Like,
describing to me your perfect guy with forgetting about assuming he's religious.
assuming he's religious.
Like
Okay,
not
so
about his religion, about how he is as a partner to you, assuming he's meeting all your religious needs?
Yeah. So someone like very like emotionally in tune and smart, intelligent, like driven, and not someone I don't really like the guys that are super expressive and like telling me all their emotions, but like someone like a little more contained so they could kind of balance me a little bit.
Okay. How old are the men that you're dating?
25 to 34.
Okay.
I honestly think that a lot of this is kind of like my own father's fault because like I really want someone very similar to him. He's like he's very much in both worlds in a way, you know?
What do you mean?
And he's very like kind of like what you said. He can be in like the mainstream world and he charges tons for a 45-minute session with him. He like yeah, he does he's a massive psychoanalyst and he's amazing. But he's also incredibly religious. Like he wakes up like super early to pray, to learn the Torah and everything. And I kind of want that balance. It actually, like Nick, he really reminds me of my father a little bit. Like he has that like contained presence a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, one, it comes a little bit with age and wisdom. I'd be curious if you asked your dad, was he always like this? What he would say. I'm curious, or just more like, what was your dad like when he was younger? As a young man. Also, like, forgetting about Orthodox religion, I think as a society, we are expecting less and less of our young men. And I think young men are maturing even slower than they were. Yeah. And so are you noticing that with also the men in your religion? Are they also just like a little emotionally immature or
Yeah.
do you feel like this guy that you liked, do you think he is unique in his not as religious, even though he's playing the part of being in the religion, or is he the most honest about it?
I thought he was like really unique. I always think all the guys are super religious.
And when you get to know them, it shows.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it usually doesn't go past like a date or two for each guy. Like this guy like went pretty far, but
Okay. What did
yeah.
you like about this guy?
He was very warm, very like emotionally in tune, and he like every time I would be like nervous about something, he'd be like, "No, like there's nothing you could ever do that would ever turn me off. Like you are so like amazing." And he really had that amazing presence to him. Yeah.
So other than the fact that he's not religious, you really dug him.
Yeah, I really liked him. I really, really did.
And basically, we're just like, can we have a religious, a faith-based relationship? He was kind of like, not really.
So I said to him, so he's like, yeah, like, are you like okay with me like that? I was like, how could I be okay with you like not even having like one goal or anything, like just something? And he said, fine. He's like, I guess you're breaking up with me. And then I was like, no, I'm not breaking up with you. Like
When you
I'm
say
like
one goal, are you talking about like in life or like in his religion?
in his religion.
Like, what does he do for work?
Even in like he wasn't like he made good money, but like he wasn't like ambitious about it. Like his goal was to kind of enjoy his life. So I said to him, so he's like, like I'm totally fine with you, like where you're at, but like if you're not going to give me that inch, like that's kind of your decision. Like you're the one kind of breaking up with me. And he's like, yeah. And then he started crying and everything. And he was like, and then that was it.
When was that?
That was like 3 months ago.
You haven't spoken to him since?
No, because you're not allowed. Like you can't. Once you break up, you're not allowed to. Yeah.
Well, he's like, he's following those rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
What and then what's your dating pool look like? Like,
Well, I'm kind of excited. I'm going on a date tomorrow with
okay.
another guy, which I also picked him out.
Do you live in a big enough city where you have enough options?
Yeah. There's like a lot of options. Yeah, it's like.
Do you know if you're like one of the more like how does your community view you?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, assuming on some level your community is small relative
Right.
to like the world, and like, the society in general has kind of lost touch with any sense of community in general.
Right.
But like the obviously a very positive aspect of religion is like like a lot of people go back to church just because it's like we need a community. right? And church and faith and religion provides that. Even if you're not that religious, it's like it's a great place that, have donuts and juice after mass, but like in your religion, religious or not, people gossip, and moms love to talk about their kids and daughters. And here you are seeming like a very young, eligible young woman, only 26 in my mind, but and maybe in
I'm an old maid.
yeah,
I'm an
in
old
religious
maid.
purposes, you're just like,
I'm over the hill.
but you must, but you must be considered like someone who, you're a beautiful person, like I'm imagining there must be like, are people not talking about you?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay, that's probably for the
I
best.
have
I'm
no
not
idea.
trying to
I have
fill
no
your head with.
idea.
Okay.
Like yeah, but definitely like my brother is like always like you have to keep a really good name and like you can't do anything too out there. I was like, okay, yeah, don't worry, I'm not going
Like, what does
to.
that mean?
It's like
What's too
like
out there?
like one time I told him that I like talked about therapy with a guy on a date. He's like, oh, why would you ever say that? Like, oh, you're gonna ruin your name. And like I was like, oh, okay, fine, okay, I won't say that.
Your
Okay.
dad's a therapist.
No, that was my brother. My brother doesn't have a therapist. Oh, right, my dad is, but you
Why would it
can't.
ruin your name, you talking about therapy?
I don't know, honestly, because like maybe like you have like mental health issues or something. Like I don't know.
Well, that's kind of my point, in the
Yeah,
sense that, like, I think religion is and can be a beautiful thing for people, right? I myself have seen some of the negative side of religion and how people weaponize it and use it for their own ungodly ways. And then often, I think the intent of how people use religion is good, but like, for example, your brother, like, seemed like he had your best interest in mind. Here he is like, oh my God, don't ruin your name by talking about therapy. You don't even know what he means by that. And he seems well intentioned. And I think that's kind of sometimes when it comes to really devout religions. And that's why I think as an adult, it's important to just, at some point, you have to have your moral compass that may very much be dictated greatly by your faith and religion and how you were raised, but it's gotta come from you. You have to decide for yourself. Your brother, I guess on some level, he has his opinion. I guess don't talk about therapy, but like, and he was passing on his beliefs that were unique to him onto you, right? And I think sometimes if you don't have yours, it just kind of gets very confusing of who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to follow. And I think it's just really important to just know what you think as a person who, it sounds like you've had great parents and they've raised you up. And now it's time for you as a 26-year-old adult to like make her choices for herself and be accountable for those choices. And just in general, forgetting about dating, something you need, I would say focus on, because like otherwise you're just always kind of questioning yourself.
yeah, that's definitely what I was talking about with my therapist. That I have to kind of have my own thoughts about these things. Like there is also like just this guy tomorrow that I'm gonna go out with. I think he seems really really nice, but he also is a little bit less religious. But we'll see what happens there. Yeah.
I'm not surprised to hear that, because I just think it's like religion in general is under fire by the world, right? Like it's not, there's that. And then I think, or more orthodox, it's just like temptation is just everywhere. I mean, I don't know, like, do you even have a smartphone?
So yeah, good. That's actually a really good question. Just till last year, I switched over to a smartphone.
And like how, I mean, but like a smartphone is basically a gateway to the
Yeah.
secular world, right? Is it
Yeah.
right? That's all it is. It's just it's a
That's
device
a
to
great
everything you shouldn't mess with.
right.
And
Right.
I'm guessing there's apps for Orthodox Jews too, but
I think so. Not really.
okay, well, then like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, how do you, and I'm not here to question anything.
Yeah.
I just like, I guess my point is like, you are on
Mhm.
some level, and I'm sure your parents are too. Your parents are definitely making choices for themselves. That part of you, when like, if I said, well, what happens if you were to watch Love Island, and they would tell you like, oh, I guess like enjoy yourself, like that mantra, right? Like to me, that's a recognition that like even the most devout and God-fearing Jewish people, Orthodox, like, have their things that maybe they technically shouldn't do, but it's not hurting anyone and they get a little joy out of it. So like, whatever. I think that response is a recognition that like everyone kind of has their thing because
I find it so hard to believe that everyone has their thing. I think like I actually think I'm like in the school I teach in, I'm considered like one of like the less religious.
and is
Like
that solely based off of what? That you're not married yet?
no, in terms of like
Okay.
dress and like how they look and just even like yeah, the fact like I'm on here. Also just yeah, even a question about like let's say like you and your wife. So here was, you met this like this star person and I'm sure it was hard for you to get over like let's say the age gap.
Mhm.
So is there like a certain, element of like when you find someone so amazing that you kind of like shake it up a little bit?
I mean, you definitely have to make compromises. Natalie and I have both had to make a lot of compromises. We're not all that self-conscious about how we present to the world. We like to share a lot of things about our life. We definitely don't share everything about our life. And like, we certainly don't want to paint this picture of like this perfect couple. Like we think we have a perfect relationship because again, we work so hard at it, but we've both like, we had to make sacrifices and compromises are because at the end of the day, we chose each other, you know, we're not very religious, right? So like, my parents were introduced by a priest. Their marriage was centered around God. And that was a core principle of their relationship and a big part of my upbringing. And I had a great childhood, right? And while mine and Natalie's religion isn't centered around God, it's centered around our family and each other. And that is kind of our North Star. And so, yeah, I guess it's like you need a North Star. And for you, it's like you want that religion to be your North Star in your relationship, which I think makes a lot of sense. And you're meeting men who maybe don't want that, I guess.
And most of the men do want that, but then I feel like I like the guys that are a little bit more open in a way.
What is
Yeah.
the thing that you like about them? Or what are the things that you don't like about the religious men that you're meeting? Like, is there
Like I find it just very hard to talk to them. Like
they're weird.
maybe like I don't know. Like it's just like I'm like thinking about like some of the conversations like I had
Yeah.
and like it's like
I'm trying to
very
thread the needle here and explain myself because obviously I want to be very respectful to your religion. I just and you again I'm curious what your dad would say about this because he must recognize that it's hard. It's got to be harder and harder and harder today to be a devout Orthodox Jewish person, man or woman. Um, it is, like I mean, 50 years ago there were just a lot more religious people. So whether they shared your religion, they understood the concept of like putting God first in their life and and having more discipline in their life when it came to like having that balance. And discipline is not a core principle I think a lot of young people are learning these days. I mean, you're dating early 30-year-old men, so it's not like that they're that young. They're not like Gen Z. Um, but I just think I think it's very easy to get access to the outside world for anyone, including Orthodox people. And I think the people who have been able to do that, again, whether this is fair or not, my assumption would be that they're so closed off to the outside world, which is why they're so religious. But that closed off and that disconnect is like they're not operating like, I don't know, I don't want to say normal, but like there's a little something like not connecting the dots where it's just like
yeah,
the only reason they're so
yeah,
religious is because they don't know anything better or they don't know anything else. And so their devotion comes from knowing nothing else. Your dad is like the literal opposite, right? Like you mentioned
right,
that balance, right? He is in the outside world. He faces that temptation and he chooses not to, for the most
right.
part, I'm assuming, but I guess he has his thing. Um, you know, you know what I'm
Don't think
saying? He has his balance, whatever that is, and he can go through life as a man who like can just be a normal person, you know, and does that make any sense? You know, I don't.
no, it makes a
Yeah.
lot of
And
sense.
you're
Like,
meeting men that like, you know, have seen a little bit of the outside world and unlike I guess your dad have been like, yeah, I'm kind of I'm digging this kind of thing.
yeah,
And
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I would really be curious. How much have you talked to your parents about how they were in their 20s outside of like God?
yeah. No, I did talk to them. They also had a hard time finding each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It wouldn't shock me if did your dad ever have a period in his life where he was a little less religious?
Yeah, but like he didn't like touch anyone, but like
Well, yeah, I don't mean about whatever. Maybe it was
no,
music.
but like yeah, like he said like in his 20s he kind of felt a little bit it was hard for him to be in the same level of religion and like because they pray 3 times a day, the
Yeah,
men, and like all that. So he said it was very hard for him.
yeah. I think that's normal. I guess is what I'm saying. And I just wonder if I don't know how helpful I'm being here, but it makes a lot of sense that men in your community, the type of guy you're looking for, is the type of guy who grows up in your community, devout, religious, you know, believes in the same thing you believe in, and will most likely probably at some point in their 20s, late 30s, lose their religion a little bit. Dabble in the outside secular world a little bit, right? Be tempted and then find their way back to their faith in God. And, you know, but like that losing their religion allows them to kind of like I don't know, just learn a little bit about the world, understand it, know how to include it, but not be immersed by it, you know? And so they feel a little more normal as opposed to like, you know, a caged tiger who's never really seen the light of day. And I feel
Yeah,
like a
I
lot of,
definitely feel like some of the guys feel that way. Like I feel like they're like you go on a date with them and they don't know what to do with themselves. They have all this like extra energy that they're just like
yeah,
containing.
that makes a lot of sense because like a lot about the way there's so many threads to potentially and layers to pull back here, but like a lot about devout religion is about suppression. It,
Wow.
right? I mean, it just is. And that can and
I
how that's
feel like
channeled how that's channeled, right? Could be your dad sounds like a man who's been able to find that balance. It doesn't maybe feel like suppression to him. It feels like sacrifice and devotion and the ability to like channel that healthy in a healthy way where like maybe young men who have only just been told what not to do and then like just kind of operate from a place of fear so they don't try other things and they're suppressed, you know, and they don't know how to, you know, channel their emotions and their feelings and they don't know any better. So they're, you know, by the time they show up across the table from you, you're just like, what am I?
yeah.
Is this for real? Like, and then you
Like
meet the
yeah,
guys who are a
that's
little bit more
exactly.
normal and they're like, I don't know if I'm ready for this whole like hardcore devotion thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's yeah, you did it. You summed it up really, really well. Is Yeah, I didn't even think about it. That's the reason. That's why I don't like the more religious guys. Not that some of them aren't like relaxed and not like a caged tiger, but some of them it's like I don't even know. Like I'm just like, where are you coming from? Like what's going on here?
yeah, no, that makes a
Like
lot of
is this
sense.
actually happening? Like I don't.
What's disappointing with the last guy is because like had he just been like, listen, I'm if I'm being totally honest, I'm definitely like I question my religion more than maybe I used to as a young man. But
I would have married him if he said that. I would have married him. I would have. Like he didn't give me any talking things. Like there was
yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, and if he would have said like I just want to be honest about that, but like obviously I want to raise our kids and
Yeah.
I want us to have a faith-based life and I want us to like have God be like a centerpiece in our marriage, but like at the same time, just to be totally honest with you, like I'm gonna watch Love Island. And sometimes I just need to shake it up and be a bad boy. I don't know. I feel
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
gosh.
you would have been down for that.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I would have done it.
So maybe that's your balance, that's what
But
you
do you,
got.
like, you don't think I made a mistake with that last guy?
No, because he gave you nothing,
Right.
you know,
Like, there was just, right, right. It was just dead.
because you
Right.
do like religion's important to you. That's a non-negotiable for you, right? Like it sounds like talking to you, you're willing to marry someone who, like I just described, is like honest about the fact that like they question their religion more than they feel like they should sometimes. They have done things and dabbled and tried things out that are quote unquote, they're not supposed to do or against their religion, and they've made some choices that maybe the rest of their community might frown upon. But like, you're the woman I'm going to get engaged to, so I'm going to tell you everything, and I hope that you accept me. But I've been bad, so but like, I definitely want us to raise our kids in this church, and I want us to challenge each other about our faith without judging each other and shaming each other, and just find that balance. And then, that sounds like you're down for that.
Right. Yeah, I am.
There you go. I mean, and then
So,
how do you ever with these men, like, so my last take, like what I'll leave you with is, if you meet that type of guy, like this last guy, and again, I don't think you made a mistake, but like, I guess, what do you offer? Do you meet them at their level, so to speak?
I'm so confused.
I'm confusing you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Well, if you're meeting a guy who
Yeah.
like says what I just said, right? That's how he presents. Do you offer up anything to relate to them?
Right. Yeah.
In terms of things that technically you shouldn't be doing, or do you ever question your religion? Do you ever have doubts about things? Do you dabble in secular things from time to time that maybe you shouldn't do? That's what I'm saying, meeting them at their level. Because if someone's going to come to you and say, hey, if I can be totally honest, this is how I feel, and you're like, well, I don't relate, I love God, and everything I've learned is like, that's what I want, and I'm hardcore, and that's who I am. Like,
Hmm.
that's going to be harder for that guy to feel accepted, or like that you're a match. And you're going to have to meet him at his level, at your comfort level, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no. I think I mean, maybe I could do more of it. Maybe I could do more of that. I think I do. I think I like, usually it's not a problem. Usually the guys end up sharing way too much with me. Um, that's usually what happens. But
I mean,
I
I don't know what it'd be like to have to try to have 6 dates and then get engaged. I would tell you everything too. I'd be like, all right, well, there's no secrets here. So like,
yeah, yeah, they usually just share, and just like their entire lives come out. Like, it's just that's just what I think, that's just what happens. Like this.
it's interesting talking to you, and we do have to wrap it up, but like, you present as someone, and again, this is maybe just an unfair stereotype,
Yeah.
but and again, I'm very comfortable and familiar with very religious people,
Mhm.
but you sound like a normal person. You come across as a woman who's at least familiar with how like the normal secular world dates, and you have some of the same standards and desires and particular interests that other women also have, coupled with this very religious background,
Yeah.
and so it's not surprising to me that you're having a hard time finding your very religious equal.
Yes. Wow, you nailed it. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like if you were like, you know what, I'm going to go and date, like, I'm going to go on the apps, you would
Yeah.
find a lot of men interested in dating you, whether you would want to date them or not. But I don't think a lot of men would be like, who's this weird religious freak?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you. Well, that's
I
I wouldn't know. I
and
wouldn't
I
know
know you wouldn't
anything.
know, but I also feel like
Even,
that.
even the fact that you said I was beautiful, like, you have no idea. Like, I'm like totally keeping that comment with me, because no one ever, like, no one tells me that. Like, like a guy's not allowed to say that on a date. So like the fact that you said that, like, you probably
You
think,
step
oh yeah,
outside. I mean, there's just a certain level of objective, like, you're an attractive person.
no, thank you. No, I'm gonna definitely keep that comment with me, because like
What
nobody
about the
ever
guys
said,
you're on dates with? Are they not allowed to
they're
come?
not allowed to say
That's
that.
crazy.
No, no, they're not allowed to comment on my looks at all.
Yeah, it's just like I don't I don't know how if I've been much helpful, but like, yeah, there's you guys have a lot of rules that are just hard even for me to comprehend how to because you're trying to strike that balance between, hey, listen, your parents are going to pick your husband and you're just going to make it work kind of life,
Right.
like in a prearranged marriage, versus like, the rest of the world, which is like, hey, go find what you think your best fit is. And the world's gotten pickier and pickier. And now we have all these apps and everyone has all these options, and no one, like, everyone's just like, I want to pick the perfect person. And everyone's like spending their entire adult life waiting for perfect, when they kind of just need to pick someone who's like a nice match to them, and then figure out how to make it work, because that's how, it works. But like, you're trying to do both.
Yes.
And you have to, I guess I'll leave you to this. You have to find your balance too.
Is that it's not settled yet in me, you're saying? My own balance.
I'm not convinced you know exactly what you want for yourself. I think you have an idea of what your life looks like, but in terms of the day to day, like,
Yeah.
I just think as human beings, even the most religious people, like, everyone has their vices. You have a wandering mind. Like, what are your I don't need to hear them, but like, what are your fantasies? Like when you know what I'm saying? And like
You're not really, that's also a rule. You're not really supposed to have like,
but it doesn't matter what you're supposed to have. You're a human being, and you know what I'm saying? Your dad has thoughts and your mom's mind wanders. They might catch themselves and go, oh, nope. But like, you know what I'm saying? That part of you that has curiosity and asks questions about the world and the meaning of life, and like is seduced by whatever thing they're not supposed to watch. Like, like human beings, like, you're a human being. And so human beings like have to deal with all these emotions, and you're a human being that's a part of this community, and it's important to you, and you're trying to strike that balance of a very historic and a very ancient and a very old religion and a very modern time, and that's a challenge.
it is.
But I think it's really important for you to find more and more about like your core principles and your North Star, and and how you include God into your life, rather than the answer to all this question is God. Does that make sense?
No, it makes really like a lot of sense. And like, I appreciate you taking the time to really figure that out with me.
All right. Well, hopefully this was helpful. I'm very fascinated. If you ever want to call for a follow up, we'd love an update on your dating life. We'd love to follow your story and your journey.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, I mean, like, the most I know about the Orthodox Jewish religion is that show Orthodox on Netflix, which was like popular in the pandemic. It was
Right. Is it sounding similar or?
well, a lot of it. I mean, like that paints a very, again, like that show taught, that show recognized some of the unhealthy aspects of that community and religion. I don't know how accurate that stuff was, but
Yeah, it was a
every
little
religion
both.
has their dark side, and every religion, like,
Right.
again, a lot of it is based off suppression and shame. A lot of it is how it is interpreted and how it is done, like,
No, I think people could take religion and make it the best thing or make it the worst thing.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's how you take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thank you so much. I
try
really
doing, I got to think you got to find your things that you do for yourself, even if you're not supposed to do it.
Okay, I'll have to
I
find
don't
that.
want to be like, and influence your life negatively, or like, I don't know if your parents listen to this, but you got to find your dad has his own moral compass. I'm convinced by that.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, if you would meet you're literally like him. Like I mean, I always tell that to my father. He's like, "Okay, sounds cool."
I don't know if
No, he's very similar. Like in like, yeah, he just is, like he gives it as it is, and yeah.
well, yeah, but like that, your dad's ability to be a very devout religious man is that he has conviction in himself. And
Right.
he is following his compass that is based off of his religion. He doesn't question himself. And he is, I'm guessing, prepared to be held accountable for whenever he meets his maker. I think you make a lot of decisions based on what you think you should do.
Yes.
And I don't think your dad spends a lot of time questioning that. I think he knows what he should do and he does it.
Okay. All
And
right.
you should channel your dad.
Okay, thank you so much for that. All right.
All right.
So good talking to you.
Thanks for the
Well,
call. It's a pleasure. Bye-bye. Spring cleaning means refreshing everything, including our wine fridge. And that's why we love our First Leaf membership. They always keep our selection fresh by sending us the perfect case of personalized wines right to our door. Whether we're craving a light red, a crisp white, or a refreshing rosé, we are always stocked and ready to enjoy a glass of wine on a sunny day or any spring gathering. They get your taste. The more they'll work with them, the more they understand your vibe and what your preferences are. And it's just great always enjoying a great bottle of wine and a new bottle of wine, and one that's not based off of labels. I've said this before, but before First Leaf, when I would go buy wine at the grocery store, I would just a certain price point, find a label I thought was cool. I had no idea anything about it, what it was. But with First Leaf, it's a fun experience to learn a little bit more about wines you enjoy and different regions and different preferences and pairing with different meals. There's literally a science behind it, and let the good people at First Leaf do that work so you can just keep enjoying wine. And stop lugging heavy bottles of wine. First Leaf, it delivers right to your door. It's easy, convenient. Stop and start it whenever you need. It's incredible. Can't recommend it enough. And so enjoy the fresh vibes of spring with wines you'll love from First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-picked bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. Tryfirstleaf.com/VIALL. You know what's more stressful than a Monday morning meeting? Realizing you're out of everything before the day even starts. And that's exactly why we stocked up during Thrive Market's back to school sale. Thrive's been a lifesaver for our family. Well, one, obviously as new parents, we're even that much more conscious about our health and the food that we eat, and more particularly the food that we feed our daughter. And Thrive Market has a lot of great healthy options. Everything they have is great and health conscious. Thrive lets us shop by diet, values, or even food phases. Because let's be real, your kids' taste preferences change weekly. So easy to shop at Thrive. Again, different categories, different preferences, different diets. No matter what your preferences are, Thrive Market feels like it's always tailored to you. Also, love a good snack. We love snacks. Our last order was packed with snacks. Yummer gummies, Aloha bars, their poppy sodas are some of our favorite snack options. They might be yours as well, and you can find them all at Thrive Market. And last time we were shopping, I saved 25%. So the savings are there, as well as the quality of food. So if you are tired of going to the grocery store, you don't have the time, or just you feel like there's just a lot of bad options, and you just want to streamline your grocery shopping experience, check out Thrive Market. I promise you, you won't regret it. We use Thrive Market because it's easy and we can find all the things that our family need in one place. So go to thrivemarket.com/VIALL and start saving today. Sale ends August 31st. Again, that's thrivemarket.com/VIALL. And don't forget, new members also get 30% off their first order and a free gift. So now's the perfect time to check out Thrive Market for the first time. How's it going?
It's good. My name's Hattie. I'm 29 years old, and my due date is the day after my best friend's wedding.
Sucks you're your friend.
Yeah. So
what are your options? What do you?
Well,
what can I help you with? To decide if you should skip the delivery or what?
That's obviously not an option, but I actually wound up having a dream.
Okay.
And it went horribly, right? So I panicked and I called her the next day because I was like, I can't keep it to myself anymore. It's harboring itself in other ways now. So I went ahead and I told her, and she actually took it way better than I thought she was going to.
How do you think she was going to take it?
Oh, I thought she was gonna, in my dream, she didn't want to be my friend anymore. She was like, you did this on purpose, made it sound like I was malicious. And I was just devastated.
Is this a healthy friendship or?
Yes, it really is. I don't know. I just am an anxious person, and I don't like to let people down or disappoint them. So okay. I think it's just a me thing. But she took it well. She was like, it sucks. I'm sad.
Is this in the dream or in reality?
No, in real life.
Okay.
In real life. She was like, I wish you could be there. I hope that's how it works out. Maybe you deliver 3 weeks early and can still try to
Sure.
just be a guest. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that, that's best case scenario.
Are you supposed to be a maid of honor or a bridesmaid?
I'm supposed to be a bridesmaid, and my daughter, who is 2, is supposed to be her flower girl.
Can your daughter still go?
Yes. So I talked to my in-laws, and my in-laws live 2 hours away from where the wedding's going to be, and they offered to take her so that she can still be a part of it.
Honestly, that seems like a great thing, because is this your second child?
This will be my second.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I there's always how do you what's the that transition from 1 to 2 kids, and right now your whole world is your daughter, right? And now
Right.
it's supposed to be something else. And this will give your daughter like a moment. She'll probably feel really cool, and she'll be the flower girl. And it's actually like from a timing standpoint in that regard, as it relates to like giving her something, your daughter, to focus on. And while you're focused on your newborn and you're not feeling guilt about what your daughter's doing, you know that she's like having an exciting moment. She'll be excited to talk to you about, and like kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that she doesn't have like a complete meltdown without me. She's only been away from me once. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so
Okay.
like I don't have a ton of time away from her. So that's best case scenario. It's like a great experience for her, and she still gets to have her flower girl. I just may not be there.
How many months away is your due date?
It is, I guess, like 7, 8. I don't know. I'm due in March, so
Okay. So you have some time to
Mhm.
just maybe create not create distance between your daughter, but like I'm sure like just
Build independence and confidence,
yeah,
and yeah,
slowly but surely, like we are very active in River's life, and we're Natalie is I guess essentially a stay-at-home mom, but like we have very busy lives, and we have cool opportunities, and are lucky enough to have grandmas and friends be like help with childcare and things like that. But the most we've left River for is 3 nights. First it was 1 night, then it was 2 nights, then it was and it's like but it's a little bit here or there, and it's not easy for Natalie. I'm always but it's like this is she learns that we're
it's
coming.
good for them.
Yeah, she learns
Yes.
that we come back and things like that. So something to be mindful of if you're worried about your daughter's ability to handle that. Now it's like it's a goal to try it
Yeah,
out.
work towards that.
Work.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I have a whole other like layer
Okay.
to this. So the bride took it fine, right? She was like, happy for you, sucks for me, but it's going to be okay in the end. So I called her maid of honor, which was also my maid of honor. Like we're in this like tight knit group of friends. And she essentially told me that I should have waited 4 weeks, and that she didn't say I was selfish, but like that's how it made me feel, like insinuated that a
What do you mean you
decision
should have waited 4 weeks?
that I shouldn't have gotten pregnant, that my husband and I should have
See,
been
insane.
more careful.
That is an insane thing.
It was not fun. So like,
But like also like that's just you have to just understand that's an insane thing for her to say, and she's just 100% wrong.
I'm glad that you said that, because anybody else that I've like talked to about it is like, I can't believe she said that to you. But
I mean, it's so difficult to have a kid. It's such a blessing to get pregnant and begin with. So many families struggle with it. To sit there and decide that you're doing family planning around like nothing out, like there's nothing, no one else really matters. I don't know, that's my opinion. It's your family, and like like it all you you yeah, I mean this is an insane thing. Also because like you don't know, you didn't know you were gonna get pregnant,
no, and my husband and I had talked, like we have been wanting another one for about a year now, but we decided that we were going to start trying after my daughter turned 2, which she turned 2 like literally a few weeks ago. So we wound up getting pregnant just like a little bit before like what we were already planning, and my friends already knew that was something like my husband and I had been talking about, something that we were going to start doing. So to me, it shouldn't have even been that shocking that it happened, even if it happened sooner than what was expected.
So how did you leave it? What did she actually say?
I sent a message, or I sent like a screenshot of like what she had said to me after the phone call. Cause when I called her on the phone, I told her, she was like, I'm happy for you, but like, I'm confused, like why you didn't wait 4 weeks. And then I was like, well, I'm stepping back from like bridesmaid things. I said, I'll still go to the bachelorette party. That's fine. Like it's early enough in the pregnancy.
You didn't
That's not
say
an
anything in
issue.
response to that? You just let her
No,
get away?
I just kind of blew over it, because I was like, what am I going to, I'm not going to justify my actions to you. And then when she texted me, it was kind of along the same lines, like, I don't understand why you didn't wait 4 weeks. And then it's extremely unfair to our friend that she doesn't get to have you there because of the choice that you made. And
Does this person have kids?
no, and she doesn't want children, like ever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is a whole other, like,
All right,
you don't
well,
even understand what
then
it's like.
I think you just ignore her. I mean, like, yeah, there's no, you don't waste your breath explaining. I mean, I myself, I would have been like, it's none of your fucking business. You don't know what you're talking about, but thanks for sharing your opinion. That's what I would have said. But I'm not, that's definitely not like
Yeah. I told her, I said, your feelings are valid. And I said, so is the bride's feelings. They're valid. Like it's an upset, right? Like her day is like gonna be different because I'm not there. I was like,
I
but
mean, I don't know. Like, what? I, it's whatever. It's her wedding. It's not your wedding, you know? And yes, would have been nice that one of her best friends would be there for sure. But if she's wasting any part of her day thinking, oh, I wish she was there, like I don't know. I don't remember giving a fuck about who wasn't at my wedding on the day of my wedding. Like, that was not a concern of mine,
that's true.
And it's not that I was, there's some people who couldn't make it. Some people I really wanted to come, and
Yeah.
shit happens and life happens, and a couple family members not being able to make it for choices that I didn't personally like. I didn't but whatever, it's fine. Like, no, it's like, it's just a day.
It is just a day. Yeah.
And that's a day that's supposed to be special to her. It's not,
And her husband.
And her husband. And it's just,
yeah.
The rest is all bullshit.
Correct. The rest is a show. Like, you know what I mean? Like me standing up there, that's like part of the show. It doesn't have any impact in the longevity of their relationship.
No.
Like, so it would be great to be there to support her because we've been friends for 10 years and like, I get it, but I don't know. To me, it's not the end all be all.
I only say this to you because you need to know this, right? And like, I have a gift, and that is to not give a fuck about things that I know I shouldn't give a fuck about. And I just leave it out the door and I move on with my life.
I'm envious of that. I will fixate, and I have been fixating.
But you just need to know, listen, it's important to know when you're not right. It's important to be able to be humble and say, hey, it's good for me to get some feedback from people, or for someone who's close to you to sit you down and say, hey, I think you're being a little like self-centered right now. It is important to have those qualities. It's also important to know when you're right, and you're right for whatever reason, because this is a decision I made for my family, and I don't need outside voices. And if that outside voice is my mom or my best friend or my father-in-law, fuck them, because they're wrong, and it's none of their goddamn business. And when it comes to adulthood and having your family and planning your family and having a relationship with your husband and being parents together and raising your kids, you guys need to make a ton of decisions together. And it's great to get feedback from people who are, older and wiser and have been there before. And it's great to seek out advice. But at the end of the day, you need to know what is right and is wrong. And you need to know when to shut outside noise out. And especially now that you're pregnant.
It's been so stressful. Honestly, since I found out my due date, I was like, oh fuck. It's just been,
you know what I'm saying? You're, how I've been, stressed, it's not,
it's not good. It's not good.
You know what I'm saying? And you put your priorities in line. This fucking chick who doesn't want a life remotely like yours or the overall health of your baby. What's more important, her feelings or your baby's health?
Valid. Yeah.
And it's that simple. And so then you just stop giving a fuck about some girl whose life is only, I don't know are you friends with this girl?
Yeah. She was my maid of honor and I was her maid of honor. So we,
not the bride. I'm talking about.
The maid of honor was also my maid of honor and I was her maid of honor. So we're actually the two
chances
closest.
Are you're going to continue to grow further and further apart. Not because you just want different things. She doesn't. You want a family and you're going to invest, and she doesn't. And once kids show up, it just changes your calculus, as you know, not personal. It's not, I have buddies who aren't parents. It's not, we're still friends, but it's different.
Yeah. It's not the same,
So
I have another question for you then.
Okay.
So we're supposed to go on a lake trip with them in 2 weeks.
Who's them?
The maid of, So the maid of honor
Mhm.
and her husband, and then the bride and her fiance. And me and my husband and my daughter we're all supposed to go together and spend like a weekend at the lake. And like after the conversation that we had, I don't necessarily, I feel like there's just going to be a lot of tension, and it's going to be like one of those things where like we're playing nice and or it has like the potential to blow up because my husband is pissed right now at her. And he
I
is
get it.
very much like you in the aspect where he's like, literally, fuck her. Like, this is ridiculous. And he wanted me to respond a lot differently than I did with, like, your feelings are valid. And, like, da
I
da
get
da.
it.
He's like, no, you should have put her in her place. So I'm really scared that my husband, if we went, would do just that.
Do you think you could have this conversation with her without stressing yourself out? One, first and foremost, with a little bit more authority, tell her a little bit more honestly about how you feel, in hopes that she would just like, just say, hey, and it goes something like, listen, your comments to me the other day bothered me a little bit. Like, I understand that you were just trying to be a friend to Megan, but like, and I totally get that you don't want what I want, but like, you definitely overstepped when it came to like sharing your opinion about like how I'm building my family and my life. And like, I'm not even get into like what you said, but like, I'm not planning on like having like, I don't even know how you say it, but let's just like, that was none of your business. And that was
Yeah.
a really insensitive thing to say to me and whatever your husband's name is. You don't need to share
Mhm.
it. And she should apologize.
You think she owes me an apology?
I think she I think she needs to recognize that it was insensitive. Whether she wants to have kids or not, to like understand like the position of a pregnant woman and the emotional like the just the sensitivity around that, you know, and that she decided to put she could only assume that you probably felt bad about not going. She, right? I'm assuming so like the fact that she decided to, in that moment, say something that would only make you feel more bad or more guilty about something that like you didn't want this, but for you, but for her to assume that you're going to family plan around a friend's wedding is the most absurd thing.
Yeah. And the thing is like my husband and I have been talking about like not going and then like the direction in which to like, do we lie? Do we just say like, oh, dog sitters fell through, like can't make it? Or do we be honest? Because this isn't like the first time she's like done
Yeah. You got to be
something
honest.
like
You got to
this.
get if she's a real friend, this person was your maid of honor, give her a chance
Mhm.
to see your point of view. Like this isn't, you don't, guys don't have to turn this into a high school fight. You don't have to, this doesn't require kicking and screaming and name calling, and it doesn't need to turn into drama. But if this person is a friend that's worth continuing to invest into adulthood, she should understand you and your husband's point of view. And if she can't, that is definitely a red flag and maybe a signal that like this isn't a friendship you guys should do much investing in, because like you're not judging her for her choices. She doesn't want to have kids. That's fine. God bless her. Whatever she wants to do with her life is cool. Listen, I guess before you have kids, it's just, like you
It's
do.
super easy before you have kids to be able to say like you could have waited 4 weeks before you had
Well,
kids.
yeah, because the only thing you prioritize is like, I guess your job, and your boss is like, okay, well, you can either have vacation or not have vacation, but other than that, you get to do whatever the heck you want in life. Your priority, I guess,
Yeah.
is your friends and family, or, trips you want to take, or like bucket list things that you want to do. And then like, you just kind of, yeah, you make things work. But yeah, what your friend doesn't understand is like, once kids are in the equation, and like, clearly she's never experienced trying to get pregnant and the difficulties around that, and just, and you don't I really need her to understand that, but like, she should at least understand a little bit about that. It's certainly none of her business. And then as a pregnant woman, that wasn't really her call to make you feel more bad about something that is just really none of her business, and something that at a minimum, whether she wants to have kids or not, should have been able to like have a little more empathy for someone who does.
Correct. And I think the reason why, like I told her like your feelings are valid because I do see both sides, I guess, in the essence of like I do have a friend who's getting married. This is an important day for her and I wish I could be there. But on the flip side, like two things can be true at once, where two happy things can be happening at once. Like somebody can be married and somebody can be having a kid. Like, and I just felt like I thought she was going to be bipartial and be able to see that, like, there's two happy events happening, and that it wouldn't have like blown up into how she feels. So
Well,
I just,
it's not about her feelings. It's not even her goddamn wedding.
no, it's not. But she's like made this about her and like protecting our friend. And I don't understand. To me, it feels like almost too that she's picked a friend over the other. Like my other friend, the bride, her feelings are more valid or more important than mine.
Yeah, maybe to her. I don't know.
And maybe that's not true. That's just how I feel.
Well, you're talking about someone who doesn't want kids and doesn't see the value in having kids, and it's not a priority to her. But getting married was, and having that party it was. And
Yeah.
a lot of people get married because they want to have a family and want to have that partnership and raising a family.
That's like what it ultimately leads to. Yeah.
I don't know what your friend is like. What, you know, I'm not saying the only reason you get married is for that. I'm just saying,
Right.
like, having kids brings so much purpose into your life. You don't have time for other things that you found purposeful that you now find trivial. Doesn't make you right or them wrong. It just changes your perspective. And the reality is that there are things that she still values greatly that you kind of find to be superficial or trivial. Now that you've brought other things into your life. And you're not right and she's wrong, but she needs to at least respect your choices. And she, you know, I do think whether you want to have kids or not, you need to respect that. Like if there are people in your life you care about who do want to have kids, you need to recognize the sensitivity around how important it is to not stress out, you know, that person. And if you're a friend who puts their feelings over the feelings of your pregnant friend that would ultimately cause them stress, especially when it has nothing to do with you, just because out of like principle, like what is the hill that she's dying on here?
To me, I don't even, at this point, I don't even know, because I feel, like I said, I feel like she like picked a side. It's like this friend's like day is more important than you bringing an addition into the family. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
just
I
like
don't
how
think I don't think she picked it. I think that's just like where her priorities lie. She doesn't relate to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
she has no idea what it's like to
But
be a mom.
But yeah. So to continue to be a friend in your life, you need to know that she can empathize with you. And maybe in the heat of the moment, this is how she handled it. But like if you calmly come to her as a friend and say, hey, listen, that like definitely hurt our feelings. I think, you know, it just hurts. It hurt my feelings knowing that, like, obviously I'm heartbroken. I can't be there.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I've had guilt over it. So for you to, after I had already talked to Emily about it, and now I'm talking, and she was generally like obviously sad, but okay with it, only to get like your response and basically telling me like I should have not gotten pregnant is honestly kind of a crazy, insensitive thing for you to say to me. And it just really hurt my feelings. And I think that's what you say, and see how she responds. And I would say it hurt our feelings.
Yeah, like my husband's as well, like include him into, because he's pretty upset, like more so than I was, like, and it's because for me, this is not my first time with her doing something like this. Like whenever she found I was pregnant with my first one, I was pregnant at her wedding, but I didn't obviously miss her wedding. I made it, but I was pregnant at her bachelorette party. So I couldn't partake in like the drinking and the going out and the clubbing. And so like, in a way, she told me like, I kind of ruined her bachelorette party because I couldn't party the same way everybody else could.
And that's fucking crazy.
Like,
I don't know. That's fucking crazy.
I'm like, dude, like, it's just,
I kind of hate your friend.
yeah. Like, oh, and then like, okay. So also my wedding day, I guess my mother-in-law had mentioned something like I was getting off of my birth control not long after that, which is the truth. And I hadn't told my friend that. And she was like, are you trying to get pregnant? Like right away. Like she's always been very, I guess, scared of my life changing and it not
of
being
course.
the same
I mean,
anymore.
she doesn't want kids. Her perfect world is all of her friends also not wanting to have kids because she clearly knows the reality of what it's like when your friends have kids is they become less available to you. And she doesn't want her friends to become less available to her. She wants, I guess, I'm assuming she's envisioned this life where she finds her partner, and then in an adult life, everyone just parties with their friends and they go on trips together and they go out to dinners and they just like have a fun life with each other for the rest of time.
Yeah, and that was fun in my early 20s,
Yeah.
but like I'm about to be 30 and I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. And
No, I just think you need to
like,
tell her that.
yeah, like and I wish she could understand, like,
You don't need her to understand, but you do need to tell her. And you just need to stop validating her feelings that don't matter. I mean, your response empowers her to feel the way she's doing.
do you feel like I've enabled her?
Yeah, no, because her feelings aren't valid. They were in that moment, they were not valid. They were irrelevant. They were none of her business.
That's crazy.
Huh?
Yeah. I said that's crazy because like I just didn't see it that way. Like it's crazy, like blunt being told that.
Just like this, first of all, it's not your wedding and it's not your pregnancy, so this is none of your business. So like, good for you. But what it is insensitive. And like, as my friend, you should know that like you said something really insensitive and dismissive as it relates to my dreams. And like, I'm sorry that mine and Megan's dreams are overlapping, but like you can be happy for the both of us. I don't need you to be there in the living room. You should go support our friend. Obviously, I'm devastated I can't be there, but for you to like say anything to make me feel bad about it is kind of shitty.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll be honest.
But you clearly have a history with this friend where she feels very comfortable expressing her feelings about how you hurt her, and it's one-sided.
Correct. I usually just take the like brunt end of what her feelings are and feel
Start
like I
speaking
have
up.
to
Yeah.
be a better friend because like I feel like over the last 10 years, it's been like you did this and I have to apologize for it and then have to make up for
Well,
it.
that's where this all comes from, right? Like this is the relationship you guys have created and you've been a part of it. So you are at fault, right? Where she feels comfortable expressing her disappointment in you, and you don't feel comfortable expressing your disappointment in her. And so she feels very empowered to say these out of pocket things because it's how she feels. And you're always responding being like, well, okay, I'm sorry. Your feelings are valid. And okay. And she's never been put in her place.
Yeah.
And so one or two things are going to happen. You're going to maturely tell her how you feel, and she's
Mhm.
going to either respond the way she should, or you're going to realize that maybe this friendship is starting to like run its course and like there's not really much of a future here because like your friendship has been very much operating on what she wants and not what you guys want as friends. And as long as your guys' priorities were the same, the friendship worked. And now that your priorities are becoming more and more different, if you want to speak up for yourself and you want to be heard, she's not down for that. And yeah. But I think when you do it, you have to try to not be emotional about it. You have to be very matter of fact.
That's like impossible, but I will
I
absolutely do
understand.
my best. I feel like having my husband there will also, he is very matter of fact, very blunt, very, this is how it is. I feel like that's part of why we work. But
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, he'll be a good steady hand in making sure that I like follow through and don't chicken out and just cave to keep the peace. Cause I feel like that's a lot of it is like I'm a people pleaser. So instead of standing up for myself, like I just do what I can to like,
yeah.
please.
And this is a really good chance that you've just never stood up for yourself. And then when you finally do, she'll be like, you're right. I'm sorry. That was kind of, I don't know. Like maybe,
Yeah.
And
if it doesn't, I feel like that's also the answer. Like,
yeah.
I don't have the time, honestly,
I mean,
especially
it would just be a
about
crazy hill for them to die on to be like, no, we just really think that you shouldn't have done that. And we think you're wrong.
Yeah,
And this is
that
how
would
we
be
feel.
insane. Yeah.
So do you still want to come to the lake, even though we feel like you, that would be crazy, but
That would be insane.
Or she could say, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry. Obviously, I know you want to be there. And that was a little insensitive to me. And like, let's just go have fun at the lake. And thanks for letting me know that,
Yeah. Which is how it should go. But I just like have a feeling that's not how it's going to go. I feel like she's going to try to steamroll me like how it always has been to make sure that, things continue how she would prefer. Though I can't change being pregnant, Like I can't fix this situation either. And
I make sure your husband's by your side, but whatever you do, you can get emotional, but don't apologize and don't back down and don't let her see you be sad about, like, she is wrong.
Yeah. Thought it. Yeah.
She's wrong.
She
and
is.
She's either
She
going
is
to
wrong.
see it or not see it. You are giving her the opportunity to see her faults in this friendship. And that's it. And she's either going to take that opportunity or not. You are not you have to try to not be invested in the outcome.
Be willing to accept what happens.
Because your only priority right now is you and your husband and this baby you're cooking. And your daughter, and like outside, and like anyone else who wants to be a part of that harmony, great. And if not, no problem.
Yeah. It's just not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, you're right. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make sure my husband's there so that I follow through.
You just have to know you're not wrong.
Okay. I have to start believing that, because like I said, the way that she talked to me, the way she made me feel, which I guess I choose my own feelings. She can't make me feel a certain way, but
that's what I'm saying. It's knowing you're not wrong. It's not choosing to feel right. You are right. At least about for yourself, you're right.
Yeah.
There's no alternative, right? Like there's just you are not going to family plan around anyone, like around
anything.
Around anything.
No. Yeah. No. And this baby's not a mistake. Like,
and you're not going to let the closest people in your life make you feel bad about that.
No.
And it's that simple. It's that simple.
Okay, Nick, I'll do it.
All right.
You're right.
Okay. Just don't, you're right. No, I'm not right. You're right.
Okay. I am right.
She is wrong. And you're going to give her the opportunity to see her mistake. Okay. And if she doesn't want to, that is her problem. Because not to sound like, I hope anyone listening who doesn't want to have kids, I'm not coming for you, whatever, like choose your life. The reality is if, you're going to want to have to find other friends who don't want to have kids, because if a bunch of your friends want to have kids and you don't, and you want a life that is centered around,
traveling and,
and I have dear friends who don't want to have kids, and they have an amazing life. Right. And they're independent with each other, and they have a great time with each other. Right. They don't need other people to be they have tons of friends, but they still have to make their life together, and your friend sounds like someone who's trying to keep the band together. And I
was the first out of my friends to get pregnant too, so I feel like I'm the first to really start to break this away. There's only one other of us that is pregnant or has had a kid. So.
Oh, you're right.
I am right.
You're right.
Right.
Try not to stress.
Well, I appreciate you so much, and I absolutely love your show. I listen all the time, so I just really appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate it, and congratulations to you and your husband. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And just don't stress about stupid shit like this. It's all stupid. It is. It's just all stupid. Right? Like, as long as your daughter and your husband are healthy, everything else, and then you guys can pay your bills, it's all stupid. So just don't worry about stupid shit.
Okay, I won't.
All right. Okay? All
right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, small business out there, you need to check out Constant Contact if you haven't already. Constant Contact empowers small business owners, entrepreneurs, and creators to grow with confidence by making marketing simple, effective, and accessible. No expertise required. Their all-in-one platform gives you the tools, guidance, and automation you need to connect with the right people at the right time so you can focus on running your business while they help you thrive. So if you want to grow your business, and who doesn't, everyone will tell you it comes down to saying the right thing at the right time to the right people. But how do you know what is right? Luckily, Constant Contact is here to help. Constant Contact's award-winning marketing platform is here to make marketing way easier and way more effective for small businesses like yours. The best part, you don't need to know anything about marketing. Your struggle with expensive, slow, and unmeasurable marketing is over. With their all-in-one platform, you can create and manage attention-grabbing campaigns in just a few clicks. Emails, texts, social media events, landing pages, you name it. It's all in one place. No more juggling dozens of different tools. Constant Contact's AI content generator helps you turn a rough idea into a ready-to-go message faster than ever. With hundreds of customizable templates, it's easy to make something that looks and reads like your brand. That's why over 500,000 small businesses trust Constant Contact to stay connected, top of mind, and ahead of the competition. So if you are struggling with how to properly market your small business, or feel a little underwater, or feel like, or you want to compete with some of the bigger businesses out there, the great way to do that is use Constant Contact, use the technology available to you, act like a large business while still being nimble like a small business. Get a free 30-day trial when you go to ConstantContact.com. Try Constant Contact for free for 30 days. At ConstantContact.com. ConstantContact.com. That's ConstantContact.com. Constant Contact, helping the small stand tall. Well, I've talked about Symbiotica already because I love it. I use it all the time, and it's helping me stay healthy, be healthy, and feel healthy. I do that because it's great to augment your diet with some supplements that help with things like glowing skin, anti-aging, improving your gut health. And Symbiotica has been the partner for me to help me do that. One, I talked about this before. I'll say it all the time, but like supplements are only as good as how consistent you are with them. Like taking supplements for a couple days doesn't do anything. And Symbiotica's customizable travel size packets really help you stay in your daily regimen. It's great, especially if you travel. But even if you don't travel, it's just like I don't know. There's something about the way they package it and make it just for you that just like helps you stay on that routine. Also, everything they have, it tastes great. It's not like hard to digest this stuff. Their liposomal vitamin C, yeah, and I love it. We take it all the day. Vitamin C is great. You've heard it. It's great for your immune system. It's got antioxidants. It's good for glowing skin. It's got collagen production. We love it. Use it every day. It only takes 30 seconds a day to get all the nutrients you need. Symbiotica has a formula to support your health goals, everything from energy, digestion, immunity, and mood. So if any of those areas in your life you feel you need to improve, check out Symbiotica because they can definitely help. Symbiotica is one of the most trusted brands out there. They care about the ingredients they put in their supplements, and that's not the case with everyone out there. And you know that they're very conscious about that. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives. And again, they taste great. Let Symbiotica help you meet your health and wellness goals. I promise you won't regret it. Go to Symbiotica.com/VIALL to get 20% off plus free shipping. That's CYMBIOTIKA.com/VIALL for 20% off plus free shipping. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Cassie. I'm 32 and I'm calling because my husband is more interested in porn than in me.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thanks.
What makes you feel that way?
Different levels of intimacy, probably, which has been kind of recurring over the few years we've been together. And then I've recently kind of found out how intense he's watching porn.
Like what does that look like?
Like every other day.
When you say watching it, like he's
Mhm.
like sitting down, some popcorn out and just enjoying porn? Or is it like he's masturbating every other day, and when he masturbates, he watches porn to accompany that session?
Yeah, I mean, definitely he's sneaking off and masturbating, watching porn.
Okay.
Which usually I don't think would be an issue. I think that that's normal, but I think that the problem kind of comes in that I have expressed that I'm not satisfied in our sex life.
Okay.
And so I've recently found out that he has been sneaking away, lying about it. We've had open conversations before about kind of frequency and stuff like that, but he's been hiding it and kind of turning to porn instead of me.
Okay. What is he saying?
I mean, just that, we've talked about this when we first got together years ago. We're both very aware we have different kind of intimacy needs, and we've just kind of chalked it up to him maybe having low testosterone and just kind of being different people. So I've kind of accepted that.
Well, it's not low testosterone.
I didn't I just kind of took him for his word. I trusted him. And it's just been really bothering me lately. So
now that you know, right? Like, have you sat him down and say, hey, listen, like, I'm not trying to come from a place of judgment, but like it's not even just about the porn, but like it feels like you are watching porn and enjoying time by yourself rather than with me. And that makes me feel a certain kind of way. And it feels like you're more in, we're not, it's not something we're enjoying together. And it seems like it is taking over our sex life. Like,
Yeah.
and that is something I definitely have a problem with. Like,
Yeah, I had almost that identical conversation with him probably about 2 weeks ago,
okay.
and
What do
I
you
mean,
say?
he seemed to have felt bad, and he just kind of said, he's tired and sex takes a lot of effort and,
Yeah.
it's just an easy out.
True. Those are all
Which
true
yeah,
statements.
which fair, and, like, if we're fighting or something, like, he doesn't want to be intimate, where like, I mean, that doesn't really affect me. But like this kind of also, I mean, kind of another point to it is that when we aren't intimate, we do fight more, which then pushes him away more. And he kind of said that like sitting and watching porn to him is like women are like art and it's just like admiring them, which obviously doesn't make me feel
Yeah,
any better about the situation.
it's always weird when they try to like justify it. But like, listen, like you watch porn,
Yeah.
dude, it's fine. Like whatever most guys do on some level.
Mhm.
But it's just like how much is it taking over and affecting other aspects of your life? Or how
Yeah.
much is it affecting the things that are supposed to be important to you?
Yeah.
It's affecting his marriage. Like he obviously recognizes that. And he's not wrong. Like, yeah, sex is like, I think women agree too. It's easier to masturbate than to,
Mhm.
go through the whole motions of sex, and the intimacy of it. But that matters in a relationship. And like life is hard and like, get tired, but you take the time to invest in the things that matter to you. And so if this marriage matters to him, he can't just keep coming up with excuses as to why he doesn't want to invest in his sex life with his wife. And if he's able to balance both, then great, but he's not able to balance
Yeah.
them, and that's why you're having a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So was that the first time you said that to him 2 weeks ago?
No, I mean, we've kind of on and off discussed it, not frequently. I mean, we've been together for 4 years. We've maybe had this conversation once every 6 to 12 months.
And is it always the same where you basically say, I'm frustrated, here's why? He gives you a list of some excuses, tries to justify a little bit,
Mhm.
and you're like, okay, I guess.
Essentially, yeah, I mean, like, sometimes after these conversations, it gets better for a while, but it kinda just keeps going back to the same thing, so
All right. Well, have you brought that up to him?
yes.
That, hey, this is like, a theme.
Yeah, I mean, I've brought it up, like, I've gotten so frustrated that I kind of say, like, it feels like it's just an incompatibility thing at this point because how like, I just don't get how we can be so far apart on kind of what we want, and to me, like, that's a part of a healthy marriage and, the closeness with each other and, it trickles into other aspects of your relationship and
Do you guys have kids together?
no.
Do you want kids?
Yeah, we're struggling through infertility right
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
That can help.
Yeah.
Feeling disconnected from your husband doesn't help, with that type of
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, at a minimum, you need to feel like your husband cares about this disconnection that you're feeling as much as you do, right? That at a minimum, like
Yeah.
he can have his reasons, he can have his struggles, but he needs to care. He needs to
Yeah.
care, and he needs to be a part of finding solutions to this problem that the two of you are having. Right? Right now, he is
Mhm.
treating it like a you problem, and he's not seeing it as a we problem.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to be interested in being a part of a solution. I guess his solution is getting you to not complain about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it feels. I think that I'm very much more like the physical intimacy, obviously, and he's more like verbal. So,
How often are you having sex?
I mean, I'd say in like on average, maybe once a week, maybe once every other week.
Okay. Not terrible.
No, I mean, like, it's probably gone like 2 or 3 weeks, but, like, we've also only been married for 2 years. Like, I'm 32. Like,
You
I
also
just
don't
feel
have
like
kids
it's
too. Like,
yeah, like, it's just I just don't understand why. Like, it just seems ridiculous to me. Um, and he expressed, like, verbally that he cares and says, all the right things, it feels like.
have you guys done couples therapy?
Yeah, we tried. We went to a few sessions and then he got upset and said he's not going back.
What do you get upset about?
Because that session was more focused on me and my feelings. And then the next one was supposed to be about him. And he just felt like it wasn't equal and that couples therapy always takes the women's side.
I mean, he's watching porn in lieu of having sex with his wife. I don't like.
Yeah.
You obviously came in here like questioning, like, hey, do I stay in this thing? And am I in the right? Like, you're questioning your marriage at this point, correct?
Yeah, I am. I mean, this just affects so much more. Like, the longer that we go without being intimate, like, I mean, I don't want to say we talk nasty to each other, but it definitely comes into like more disrespectful talk. And then it just kind of spirals from there.
Yeah.
And then there's all these layers of like horrible things that I don't think are okay to say to someone. And for me, it just comes back to, well, if
Like what?
I mean, he's like said to me, like, thank God we don't have kids together and, calling me like a bitch all the time and marrying me was a mistake.
Oh my God.
That's just like really.
Not that that's ever okay, but like,
Mhm.
what are you saying things to him? Like are these things just like coming out of nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, really coming out of nowhere, we will get into a fight about something because I mean, without being intimate, do get like a bit more attitude, which I acknowledge all the time. Um, and so something small will happen. He's not done the dishes, but he said he was going to do the dishes, whatever. Um, and if I bring a point about, well, why did you say you were going to do something you didn't do? Then he gets defensive. It spirals into like all these other problems that he has with me and all these other points. And then I'm just like, well, it's about one problem. Like, let's keep it
Yeah.
about the one problem. It doesn't need to be like now I'm a mistake,
Yeah, I mean that's crazy things to say to him. I will say like it's a
Mhm.
fine line between getting mad at your partner for not putting out.
Mhm.
It's not just about the sex, obviously. It's just the bigger picture of the porn. But I just think if you are getting testes simply because he doesn't want to, like, yeah, you getting mad at him as a result of him not wanting to put out is maybe something you definitely want to work on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like in the moment I'm like, because we didn't have sex last night, I'm gonna be angry with
No,
you today. Like I just feel like naturally over
yeah, you're
time
like
people get,
you're feeling
you know?
rejected,
Yeah.
right? You feel
Yeah.
you feel I get it. I just
Mhm.
want to point that out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, one, you just be like, hey, I can't have you talk to me that way. If this is how you really feel about me, then like maybe we need to have more serious conversations. But if you do want to be in this marriage and we are going to keep trying, like, can you at least acknowledge that we're not in a good place either? Like, if you don't want to be married to me, like, let's just call it. Like, and if you do want to be
Mhm.
married to me and you're saying, then like, A, you got to stop saying those things. And two, like, how are we going to fix this? Because one thing we can agree on is we're both not happy with this current situation. Like, let's just agree on that. I don't know how to do this by myself. I understand you didn't like couples therapy, but like either we're going to fix it or we're not going to fix it. And we haven't been
Mhm.
able to fix it on our own. And it's not going to just magically change,
But what do you do when like you have those conversations? Because we have had those conversations and I'm going to therapy. I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work. I've seen a lot of progress in myself over the
Yeah.
last few months. And I say to him, from your part, I can handle everything else. I cannot handle like the nastiness. Something has got to change. How do we work on this? And if every time it's the same thing, I'm gonna work on it. I'll stop saying it. Like,
No,
well,
but like,
at what
that's what I'm
point do
like,
you say enough is enough?
you're like, you're dealing with like, I guess what I'm saying is like all men are very like most men are logically thinking. They like to like reverse engineer their thought process. So like put them in a quarter. Right. And my point is like, here you're saying, oh, well, I'm going to therapy. I'm doing some work and yada. I can, but like I can put up with a lot of things, but I can't put up with your nastiness. And so that gives an opportunity to say, well, then I won't be nasty, and then nothing changes, right? Like you just said. But like that
Yeah.
is not going to get him to do what you want, which is to like,
Mhm.
one, ultimately, probably, I guess, is to jump into therapy or, but you just say, listen, can we agree that like we're struggling, like we're disconnected and neither of us are happy with this current situation. We both have our reasons. And you need to find common ground with your husband right now. What is the one thing you can agree on? And even if that a thing you can agree on is the fact that both of you are just kind of miserable in this marriage,
Yeah.
but you don't want to get divorced, hopefully that's his answer.
Yeah, I think we'd both agree with that.
All right, so there, common ground. All right, so if we don't ultimately want to get divorced, but we are kind of miserable, then don't you think, like, do you want to keep living this way? Let's forget about whose fault it is right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to fix this on my own. You got to get him to like see your logic, which is, or are we just going to keep doing the same thing and expecting different results?
Right.
Because like, listen, if I make you miserable, like just like, let's just spare each other like the more hurt and pain. And if you don't want to change, or if you're not going to change, or if I can't do this by myself, we can't do this by myself. So what's going to be different?
Yeah.
And you got to get him to like kind of go down that logical path.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. And I'm happy to have, I mean, I feel like I've had versions of that conversation before.
Yeah.
And I mean, it always ends up, we're on the same page. We both agree we want to work on things, move forward, but it just ends up in the same
but like it doesn't, but
place.
yeah, because you don't do anything. You tried couples therapy once and you quit,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying a couples therapist is the only solution, but like
Hmm.
you guys need outside help.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a priest or a pastor, I don't, or a life coach. I don't know. I don't know. Parent, I don't know. But clearly can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
That's okay. A lot of people can't. And this isn't like not going to get easier with kids. So like before you guys keep trying to have, it's just like you guys are both not happy with this current situation.
Yeah.
I think you just kind of really have to start being honest without being mean about how what the relationship looks like and where you want to go from here, and see if he's willing to like make some changes. But he has to, he has to care.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I, at some point, could probably get him to agree to try counseling, or maybe a different counselor, or I mean, he's religious, so maybe a pastor or something. But like at what point, if someone decides that like they can't change, or it's not worth it, or it's too hard, or whatever, like when is the point that you are should walk away?
I mean, I think everyone has their own. That's not really for me to tell you. You'll have to decide for yourself. But
Yeah.
I think when you realize that you've tried, like when they've made it perfectly clear, they're just unwilling to do anything different.
Right.
It should, listen, at a minimum, it should bother your husband. He should be, even to himself, be able to acknowledge like, okay, maybe I'm watching a little too much porn. And like, yeah, I guess if the roles were reversed, yeah, I see why this bothers her. I understand that I'm tired. That's all true. But like, I don't expect her to
Mhm.
like that excuse. And that would, no one wants to be too tired to be made, like constantly be like, I'm
Yeah.
too tired to care about you.
I did kind of explain it that way to him, like if roles were reversed and like, what if I was turning you down, or you found out like, that I'm doing that every other day instead of like coming to you. And I think that that did kind of click with him at that point. He seemed pretty irritated at the thought of that. So I think, to some degree he understands now after kind of explaining it that way. But
Yeah. If you were like on Instagram, like just masturbating to like hot guys on the gram and then turning them down for sex.
yeah, it's offensive.
And if you can't get them to at least say, I'm not making my wife feel good. If you can't, then I don't know where
Yeah.
there is to go from there.
Well, I don't think we're there yet, so that's good at least.
Yeah, it's just, he needs to be able to, you know, it's like you seem reasonable. Like, yeah, and your sex life isn't like dead, that's for sure. I mean, once a week isn't that bad. But again,
Yeah.
you guys have no kids, so like, and he's climaxing every other day.
Right. So, yeah.
He's having sex 10 times in 2 weeks, and once of those is with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not the excuses that he's given me before. Like, that wouldn't make sense for low testosterone. I mean, now that I know this, because I did only recently find out.
Yeah, it's not low testosterone. Being tired. It's just like being,
Yeah.
you know. He's comparing to how he was when he
Mhm.
was 21, where it was like you're never too tired to have sex. To now where it's just like, I don't know, he's got a job and responsibility, and like, you know, having sex with the same person, like when you meet someone and it's exciting, you're just wondering if you're going to get laid, only to like, oh, I'm going to get laid, and it's exciting. And then when you're like in a relationship or married, there's
Yeah.
you guys have your routines, and you come home from work, you say hi, someone makes dinner, you guys eat dinner, and then you're kind of after dinner, like routines or whatever, then you kind of get in bed, and like everyone's waiting for the other person to make a first move, and you know, it takes some
Yeah.
effort. And then you're just like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I don't think that has much to do with testosterone levels in men. I think this has to do with like giving a shit.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet it's testosterone. How old is he?
33.
Yeah, I knowing that he's watching porn every other day. I'm not a doctor, but I bet he'd get a pretty good
Yeah. It sounds like he's
clean bit of
just
health.
fine.
I think you got to keep talking to him. But I think the big thing is not trying to attack one thing about what he's doing and how it's making you feel. I think you got to make it
Yeah.
more about a we problem. This is the relationship is in peril. The relationship is disconnected. You guys are fighting. Things are being said. Feelings are being hurt. You are trying to find solutions to this problem that you two are having. You may not be communicating it as effectively, but he doesn't really seem to be. His solution to this problem is that he promises to change if you shut up, and he doesn't
Mhm.
change.
Yeah.
And that's just like, what are you supposed to do next?
Right.
And yeah, I think you just got to frame it that way.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I
I
can
was
do
this in
that.
any way helpful?
Yeah. I mean, it makes me feel less crazy for sure. It's hard to kind of like see it from, going through the same cycles yourself.
You're definitely not crazy, and sadly, I don't think you're alone.
Yeah.
And I think it's very common for a lot of men to watch porn or people to watch porn, even in marriages, and every relationship has their comfort levels with that. But even for the people who are generally comfortable with their partners watching porn, they just don't want to feel like they're being replaced by the
Yeah.
porn that they're watching. And I totally get the convenience. It's a lot easier for people to masturbate than to like be physically intimate with their partners. But that's not an excuse not to be. And when your partner says,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm feeling a little like unloved, unseen, unheard. I just want to like that." Your partner has to step up and do something about it, and make them feel like they're choosing you over the porn. And like that you shouldn't have to have that much harder of a time explaining to him. And the fact that if you can't get that hurdle, then there's not much where to go.
Mhm.
So I think you need to feel like he gets it. And if he doesn't, I don't know, then maybe there's not much hope. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I'm definitely gonna have another conversation and make sure that I'm coming across very clear, because I'm kinda thinking back, and I don't know if maybe I just was a bit more shut down than what I thought that I was in the conversation. Um, so, I mean, that's definitely a good starting place, and kind of see, I guess, how he takes that and reacts moving forward.
Well, if he were
Yeah.
here, what what do you think he'd be saying?
That it's easy. He would say it's not like, "That's easy.
What's
What,
easy?
you want me to have like, you want me to have sex? We'll have sex. That's easy."
Well,
Like,
but
that's the type of shit that he would say.
well, I would say like, well, clearly not. And let's be real. I would say to him like, fuck, man,
Or yeah.
I'm often too tired to have sex, you know? What would you say to
Yeah.
that? I mean, like, you know,
I mean, I don't.
he would feel ganged up on, probably.
Yeah, probably.
At some point, he needs to man up. I don't know. He needs to step up and just face, you know.
Yeah.
Then you say he's super religious?
Yeah, he is
Are
pretty
you?
religious. No, I'm not at all.
Well, maybe you should just shame him. Shame him.
Yeah, I mean, it's crossed my mind when I've kind of talked to other people. They, it's kind of brought into it, but
Yeah, I don't know if Jesus would appreciate him watching porn.
I doubt it.
Watching his wife. Well, I'm sorry you're going through this. I don't know how helpful I was, but I really just think you need to try to make sure he's willing to fight with you, and that the fight is not just you by yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, take care.
Okay. Thanks.
Right.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.